It's a good song. I mean,
turn it up, Dave. Turn it up.
It fits the life of a recruiter.
The life of a recruiter.
It is sharp dressed man, you know.
Or sharp dressed woman.
I'll put it on just for the show.
You gotta love this song. I just love the song right now. It gets you pumped up, and it's 12:11. It is afternoon. Wow.
Yeah, what a song.
Woo. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. And I'm real curious, Steve. What time is it where you're at?
So it has just gone 5 o'clock. So 5:10 in the evening. I'm ready for a curry and a beer now.
Hey, it's happy hour. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Well, I'll tell you, everybody, before I turn over to Richard, I want to introduce, Steve Guest, life of recruiter. He's got 14 years in it and an Amazon best-selling top author, top biller. And the link, look at that. That link is right down there below. I've already seen the book. And I am going to turn it over to the Staffing Shark.
Hey. Well, Steve, welcome aboard, man. I'm so excited you were here on our last day here to be a featured speaker. I got a little present for you, Steve. I got this last week, and I did not open this. Look what I got in the mail. I got this in the mail. You guys ready? Look, I didn't even open it yet. All right, we're going to open it right here live. As you can tell, all the stuff's still in it. Look what it is.
There it is.
Top biller. The top biller. I'm telling you guys,
you.
everybody in the staffing world, I got the book now. So let me start reading it this week and reviewing some of the chapters and giving all my insight on it. Steve, I'm so excited, buddy. I got it, man.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man.
That's not fair, Richard. That's not fair.
Hey, I waited so long, and I'm like, Steve's got to be on the show because I want to open this up. I wanted to sneak. I swear, I never opened it or nothing like that. I was like, I want to read it.
That, but it's still not fair for me. You didn't even tell me.
Hey, that's what surprises are for, right?
All right. No, it's all yours, Rich.
We're going to deep dive into stuff. I tell you what, tell us about your book and about the UK and recruiting, man. It's all yours.
We'll go. We'll get it.
All righty.
Hold on.
Little tape delay here.
It's okay. It'll come back. We'll have to reverse them. It's coming.
From the pawn on the other side.
He's got a good smile. He's got a great smile. He's still smiling.
That's what happened. He has all these views when you have a featured speaker here.
Yep, I think we're getting bogged down. It's going to come. Maybe that's the cover of his book.
Maybe I should put this back up.
Yeah, hold that back up.
Top biller right here. It's in the Sharks' hands now. So you know what that means? Look out. Sky's the limit.
Out, right? Well, he's still smiling.
Hey, this is what's fun about live shows. You never know, Dave. You
never know.
It's 85 degrees out here, 90 degrees. I'm sweating, and we're trying to get Steve back online here.
Yeah. I'm staring at the picture. I'm like,
let's
we're trying. We're gonna see if he's gonna sign back on. That's okay.
All righty. Coming back in.
He's gonna sign back on. See, he got it.
Here we go.
You watch what happens. He's gonna pop right back up on the screen. I have that.
Was like a commercial break, Dave. That was like a little commercial break to get everybody ready to order this top biller, right?
That's it. Yeah, it'll happen.
Oh, man.
He's gonna sign back on.
It's okay. We never panic in situations like this. It's all live, and we'll get him back up here.
Yep, he's gonna come, and there we go. It's all right. Just a little commercial.
That's it.
He should be coming back up.
Here we go.
I still like this.
Tell you what, Dave, this is all joking aside. This is a book that I've been reading the reviews on it. I can't wait. Something you have to buy on Amazon today, man. I'm telling you, it's exciting. And last week, man, I'm so edgy. I'm like, I'm going to pick it up. It's in my office. I'm like, got to keep it sealed till Steve comes on.
Keep it sealed. Let's see.
You're the guru, man.
I know. I'm going to make it happen. Let's see. We re-sign. There we go. I'm looking at his page. Well, this is a guest worth waiting here. Let's see.
Hey, you know that.
All right, we'll give it a minute here, see if he signs back on. So I'll tell you what, though, Richard, it's been one long week, hasn't it?
It's been an incredible week, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't wait to review everything. It's just been a great week of learning, community. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about connecting, and it was exciting. We had so many memories that I'm going to take and share with me for life. This has been an incredible first Staffy Shark week ever, and can't wait till 2021. Wow.
2021.
Yes.
Isn't there can't you have a half a shark or something?
I tell you what, I wish I could have another week next week with all the guests on there, and we tried to get as many people on as we could. You know what I mean? I mean, the list was long. It just.
I got Steve. Let's see.
Let's go with the guru. Come on, let's get all that bandwidth across the country and the world.
Do you want to go ahead and try it? We'll get them back, and we'll sign out, and we'll come right back.
Do you want to? We can do that. Doing it. Wi-Fi issues, I think. Give me 2 minutes. He said. Give him 2 minutes. So.
All right. Well, then
Chuck Woolery. 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
2 minutes.
2 minutes and 2 seconds. You know that from the Love Connection back in the day. But no, I just want to recap. I mean, it just we got some great guests, coming on after Steve. We got Joey Anderson from Career Builder is going to be here talking about job boards and all that good stuff. And
he's not going to call and ask me about my money. I owe him. I have to pay him.
Not at all.
I know.
But yeah, we're going to wrap it up, with a couple other guests, and I just want to thank everybody. I mean, it's been a overwhelming week that I could never explain. And then when we do our recap, we're going to go behind the scenes. I mean, there's a lot of things I'm not even going to say that to get this produced and get this on the air.
A lot of bloopers.
Technical problems. I mean, knock on wood, we got through everything till now, but it's okay. But yeah, Sunday night, I had no clue that this Friday was going to be like this. How do you say it? You're tired, but you're so excited too. Does that make sense? It's like my heart's pounding. Like this is such an impact week for everybody in the staffing industry and marketing and just around. I mean, we have guests from all over because at the end of the day, staffing is about one thing: community and people, right? Yeah. So all aspects that came together in one situation. You don't have to be in the staffing industry to make an impact.
Oh, and I've learned everything. It's just customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Look who's coming back. Look who I see.
Look who's back.
I see him. it. See? Here he comes, ladies. He is back. See?
Yes.
He did it on purpose.
Sorry. Wi-Fi issues.
He did it on purpose.
Okay, Steve. I've already read one chapter of your book already.
Yeah. We were just reading off. I said, Steve did that on purpose.
But hey, that's good. We had a commercial break. I filled in pretty good, Steve. Filled in with
Thank you. I did think about changing the shirt.
Yeah.
Like Superman, right?
That's
yeah.
So, hey, we'll get right into it again. A deep dive into about your book and everything else. Tell us the vision you had right off the bat, Steve, to make you write a book, and then let's go into everything else.
Okay, so I've been recruiting for 14 years, and the bit that made me different when I first started, I believe, was I was a buyer by background. I'm quite strategic, process procedure, spreadsheet savvy, not your typical recruiter, and I set out to basically prove people wrong. I was rejected at the very start because I wasn't salesy enough, wasn't loud enough, wasn't confident enough, and didn't portray what the business wanted as a recruiter. And I felt because I'm strategic, because I'm process procedure, I brought something different. So I've always set out to be, I suppose, entrepreneurial and offer that element of difference. The reason I wrote the book was to actually show people that you can be the quiet, unassuming character at the back of the office and actually still outperform the loudest speakers in there.
Whoa.
Nice.
And that's what it was for. When I wrote the book, I started probably about 18 months ago. And the view was that I knew I was leaving where I'd worked for the last 11 years. and I wanted the book to almost become my business card. And you become the recruiter that's wrote the book. And therefore it helped in terms of my sales message, because the sales message became easier in the fact that everybody says, it's Steve, he's wrote that book. And it differentiated me from the market. And it also empowered consultants that perhaps weren't as confident or were worried that they weren't doing or weren't living up to the expectations of the normal recruiter. And actually it's given them confidence now to think, you know what, in a race between the tortoise and the hare, I can quite happily be the tortoise.
That is awesome.
Wow. That's touching. Yeah. I'll tell you what, that's a great way to start with, to write a book. I mean, the inspiration was there, Stephen. I think we're going to tell everybody out there that if you want to write a book, man, you can do it. Right, Steve?
Definitely. The easiest bit so writing a book, it seems like a huge task. But actually, if you break it down, as I do with recruitment, into smaller compartments. So what I used to do was give myself a question to answer. And then every morning I'd get into the office for 5:30 before the consultants turned up. And I'd give myself an hour to answer the question. And then ultimately what that did was it built the book into something that when you get asked questions as recruiters, you're answering them and you're providing value from the content by the book that you've then written.
That's nice. I got to ask you, Steve, do you have a certain chapter that's true to your heart? I know the whole book is true to your heart, but is there a chapter where you just started flowing and just the mind started thinking?
I think with me, because I'm so specific, I'm very detail heavy. I get bogged down in being almost too perfect. And I had to get to a point where actually, if you're 75% of the way there, you just need to get it out there. And then you kind of get to the point of making it perfect later. I put a post out today on LinkedIn, and it was about one of the biggest lessons I've learned over 14 years. And probably in my life as well, is that everything's my fault. And there's a chapter in there that talks you through it. So I was at a point probably 8 or 9 years ago where I had a tender come in to fill out to be a sole supplier for a company. And I sent it down to an office to get completed because we had an individual that went through the paperwork. And we had a 2-week lead time, and I didn't chase it. I didn't follow it up until the day before it was due. Rang the person up and said, right, where's the documents? We need to get it back to the client. And the answer was, I haven't done it. I haven't got time to do it. I haven't even seen it, to be honest. And I was really angry, really livid, told them what I thought, spoke to the director and said exactly the same. And the director said, Steve, it's your fault. It's not their fault, it's yours. It's 100% in your court. And I was countering, saying, no, it's theirs. I sent it on time. They've had 2 weeks. And he kept coming back saying, no, you haven't followed the process. You haven't followed it up. You haven't done the bits in between to make sure it was done on time. And I think for me, that's the biggest lesson. Because if you take control of the controllables and you manage everything in terms of the input you can put in, actually failure becomes less of a problem because you've managed the process better.
Wow, that's different. That is totally different. When you said, Steve, when you talked about your vision and how you're different, you had a different vision. What do you mean by that? Like that in staffing, what you went through? Like, did you just see like we see a vision? Ours has been virtual now. Everything's just the social media. The old days of making the phone calls are over. You know what I mean? But what made you stand out and why you said that?
I think for me, I've always been different to the normal recruiter in the UK. In the UK, recruiters by general norm are highly confident, all about the relationship element and the ability to stand in front of an audience and conduct themselves in a salesy manner. And because I'd spent quite a few years assessing salespeople and deciding whether I was going to purchase them their service or product at being a buyer, I knew all the tricks, and I would sit there and get frustrated with the sales side because I knew what they were trying to do.
Right.
And I wanted to conduct myself in a different way, that actually I just delivered upon what I said I was going to deliver. I never overpromised. If I said I would call you at 4 o'clock on a Thursday, I would call you at 4 o'clock on a Thursday. And everything was timely and in an orderly fashion. And because clients, candidates got used to the way that I worked, actually, it didn't matter what I promised, I just delivered upon it. Even if I didn't fill the position or place the candidate, the initial conduct at the start was, this is what I'm aiming to do, and this is how I go about it. So they were fully well aware that it might not work, but I would do my utmost to make sure it happens.
That's awesome. That's what I like when you just said there. You didn't overpromise.
Yeah.
So many times I believe with recruitment is you're nervous, like, because you didn't find, if they wanted, on a Friday, you want 50 or 100 people on Monday. Yeah, yes. But in reality, you knew no.
Well, that's it. And I think as a human, your defense mechanism is always to appease the person you're talking to. So it's always to say, yeah, I can do that. It's not a problem. Leave it with me. I'll go and sort it. But actually, you put the phone down, and then you think, how the hell am I going to do this?
That's what I mean. And then on Sunday,
I've never been that person. So I will condition the client or the candidate to say, okay, I will go and do my best to find you 50 people for Monday, but we've got 3 hours left of today. The chances are quite slim. You're in a remote location, you're paying too little, and it's not going to attract the best people, but I'll go and see what I can do. Give me 2 hours and I'll come back to you. And there you've set everything in motion, but you've also given yourself a window for that element of pressure and that element to return. But at the end of the 2 hours, you can say, okay, I found 15, but I'm struggling now. You might want to have a conversation with somebody else.
What summed it up right there? Honesty, right? He was being honest to the company. And that's what we need, Don't overpromise.
There's no flashy
Sunday night would be horrible. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Nope.
I was just going to say, there's no flashy sales. I am here to deliver on service, and I will do my utmost to make sure it happens. And I'll go and find you the best people. But if I'm not finding them, I'll come back and tell you. I'm not just going to send you someone for the sake of ticking a box.
Yeah, that means a lot when you say that to me, because, and you mean Richard, that's some of the struggles, because I would be the type of person years ago that Sunday night I'd be like, oh my God, I know I didn't get them.
Yeah.
But they think I did, and I'm just being honest, and I knew I should have said sometimes, yeah, you know what? It's Friday. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll try.
Yep.
Yeah, it's go ahead and try to find it. Someone else.
It's what's wrong with the industry, and it still goes on now, because I think the biggest problem, certainly in the UK, is the fact that a client will speak to a consultant, and the consultant will say, yeah, I'm going to go and find you 5 CVs for that role. And then they never hear from them again. And they're sat there thinking, well, where have they gone? That doesn't help with the fact that the turnover of recruiters in the UK is so fast and so high as well, that the relationship is constantly changing. But I think it's just the fact that we don't want to upset people, and it frightens us to say, I can't do that.
No.
So true. So true. Because in the United States, Steve, it's the same way. I have talked to so many candidates that the recruiter ghosts either the company or the candidate because they can't, produce. Just be honest and say, hey, you need to bring another staffing firm in and help us, right? It's okay. Yeah. We can share. Hey, Steve, real quick, what is some of your tips for, like, say you start your day off on a Monday or whatever? Can you give anybody some tips on how to be proactive the whole week, to focus, to get the job done?
Yeah, for me, it's breaking it down into smaller parts. So I'm sure it's the same for you guys. On a Monday, generally, Mondays is the day where things go wrong, because it's the start of the week. It's the start when most people start their new job or their new temp start, and they don't turn up, or they decide it's not for them over the weekend. So normally Monday is the day where you walk in and you think, oh God, it's all gone wrong.
My stomach.
It's only Monday. So for me, it's about making sure you have almost hourly sections to work to. So if you've got weekly KPIs or weekly targets, you've broken them down into specific sessions during each day, and then the sessions are broken down even smaller. So if you say between 9 and 11, I'm going to make 20 sales calls, and you target yourself to go off and go and make those calls. And then you just start almost building those up, and the compound effect across the week actually produces so much more results because you've broken it down into smaller elements. And equally, if it has gone bad Monday morning, go and grab an extra strong coffee or walk around the block or a jog on the spot, whatever it might be.
Whatever you like. But how do clients, Steve, when you talk to clients, even myself, like when I was doing sales through the years, it was always, you would listen, oh, sure, I can do that. And you were like, in my head, I don't want to do this. I don't want this account. But in corporate, you better take it.
Yeah.
And there again, in my head, because you didn't realize how you affected your team when you set them up for kind of failure in a way, and you knew that, but it didn't matter because you're in sales, that's in recruiting.
Yeah.
So my point to you is, have you run into clients that you don't overpromise, that you tell them, listen, and how does it go?
I think, I'm probably talking now 14 years on, but because they know I'm honest, if they give me a role and they've undervalued it, or the market doesn't offer the person they're looking for, I will offer what the market does offer. And you bring the client back round to the way that you're thinking. And it's not in a dishonest way. It's not trying to maneuver a sale into a position. You're just being honest on the fact that, so for construction here, trying to find a traditionally trained senior estimator is just nigh on impossible. And if the client's not paying enough either, you've got to say, you're not going to find that person.
Right.
Find you someone with less experience, or I can find you someone with that experience, but you're going to pay double what you're looking to. It's your decision. Or you can go and speak to another recruiter or tell you they'll go and find them, and you'll never hear from them again.
I'm mesmerized because what you're saying, I'm sorry, this relates to me and Richard. What you just said, and I know there's other recruiters out here in the United States listening. There's a lot of people listening, and some people can't say things.
Yeah.
They can't be honest, or in the corporate world or anything. I know some of them want to comment, but they can't. But you're making me feel that way because that's the way it should be. And that's why I've made a commitment to myself just to be honest. Listen, I've turned down just 2 accounts. No, it wasn't about that I couldn't fill it. It wasn't going to be successful for me.
Yeah. And that's it. And I think all of us have been in a position where we've sat there and we've said, right, I'm going to go and do it. And then you've walked away and thought, there's no way I'm going to do that. And actually it starts eating you up inside because you're thinking, I am just going to fail here.
Yeah.
And if you put yourself in that position and then think, okay, I don't ever want to be in that position. What have I got to do to make sure I'm never there? And the only way to get out of that is just to say, hands up, I can't fill this position, or I can't work with you, Mr. Client, because of X, Y, and Z. There's so much out there. And if you get those key relationships where clients understand you, candidates understand you, and they know that and appreciate the way you work, your time is better spent in the areas where you can make the placements and make more money.
Yeah, I've had my friends say that over and over, colleagues. It follows, the money follows, and you find out where you're at, where your niche is, and where it's going to come from. Because I tried, God, I feel like I'm venting, not venting, but the problems are, it's the same thing. You're trying to, like over here, IT, RNs, you're not going to fill them. CNC machinists, you're not going to fill them. You're not going to have somebody leave that's making $30, $35 an hour, 40 to 20. It's not happening. But
at the same time, you've got to think from a client perspective. Until somebody says this isn't where you need to be, they don't know any different because they place it on internal decisions, and they're not sat there as an expert working that market day in, day out. So until someone says you aren't going to get someone for 35 grand a year, you've got to pay 45. Until someone says that, they're not going to know any different. And they're just going to sit there thinking, why is nobody sending me any CVs or resumes?
Perfect. So, Steve, you summed it up like me and Dave talks about all the time. You have to educate the company on there's more value here.
You're a consultant.
Yeah, exactly. We're not a salesperson. We're a consultant, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you call it consultant? That's what you say over there. Because I'm listening, when a recruiter is a consultant.
we are recruitment consultants, and we work for a recruitment agency, and yet we are consultants. So in essence, we consult on the market we specialize in, and we consult with both candidate and client.
Okay.
I like that. I like that. It makes it simple. You can understand it. You know.
Yeah.
I'm here. Hey, Steve, real quick, tell us about that's it. Tell us a story, Steve, about something that would be wow in your career, like maybe a candidate or a client that you went into and maybe did something wow. Do you have a story you can tell us real quick?
In terms of wow good or wow bad?
I like the bad.
Either one. Either one.
You learn from it. Because you learn from it. No, you learn from the bad.
I had a senior level candidate that I'd placed in a new role. He said he couldn't work to the start date, so had to get his notice period extended to start later at his new company. He had it extended twice. He eventually went in and started at the company, went in on the Monday, emailed me about midday saying, Steve, this is the best role I've ever had. Thank you so much for finding me this company and this position. And then he didn't turn up on the Tuesday. The client rang me and said, where is he? He hasn't turned up. Rang his previous company and said, he's such and such there. And they went, oh, yeah, he's in his office. They said, well, he works for me. He started with me yesterday. And they were like, oh, no, he was on a day's annual leave yesterday. He'd never handed his notice in. Strung it along for nearly 2.5 months, I think it was, and just took a day off, tested the company, and went back to his previous employer.
Wow.
But I thought about doing that for a long time, like a week, take a week's vacation, go work at the company.
Yeah.
I thought of that. See? I thought of that.
Wow. Hey, we all thought of that, right, Dave? It takes some time. And wow.
I'm going to do it next time for a week.
Yeah. I mean, the stories are endless, aren't they, in recruitment?
Yeah.
It is. We could write a book over and over again and a story live. You know, it's we're in people's lives every day, right? I mean, it's
completely.
So what are the struggles now, like with everything? I know one of these days we're going to stop saying COVID, but but it's what it is. What are the struggles now with Steve, with trying to find candidates and versus over here that the government's been giving us supplemental people income?
Yeah. It's similar here in terms of recruiters. So I would say at the moment, my client base are probably 60-70% back to resource. The rest are still on furlough or at home, which has almost stopped permanent recruitment. We're still placing permanent people within certain contractors. So civil, groundwork, infrastructure type projects are still quite busy. But what I will see is it will tend to work towards freelance, because companies will take people on for specific projects and not want to increase overheads.
Right.
From a recruitment perspective, recruiters over here have been on furlough for 5 months now. And I know a lot of those individuals are coming back and they've forgotten how to make a sales call. And they're worried about ringing companies that are letting people go and not taking people on. So it puts that thought process in your head that it's a little bit more scary than it was 6 months ago.
Right.
But having built a business in the recession from scratch, you know that it's all about those relationships. And actually, I've built better relationships during a recession that are loyal to me to the core now than probably if that recession never happened, because it's about being part of the journey with them, and you're all in the struggle together, and it's about making sure we all survive and we come out the other end better and happier and stronger. And that's what it's about. It's about a collective group of people now trying to ensure that we all get the best out of what is a bad situation.
And like you said, I would say reinvent, because everybody's just reinvented herself, like they found like what we're doing now, this never would have happened.
No. In the second week of lockdown here, so second week of April, I put a post out on LinkedIn to say all of those recruiters on furlough, anyone sat at home that needs an arm around their shoulders or a rant or someone to cry to or laugh with, whatever it is, I'm freeing up my diary next week, booking for a free strategy call, and we'll just have a chat. And my thought process was I'd probably have 10 to 12 consultants. And I had 62 booking, and it was global. It was South Africa, New Zealand, Canada, US, Singapore, Japan, Switzerland. It was endless, and it was recruiters all with the same sorts of issues, problems, stories. It was fascinating. It was a really tiring week as well. It was all half an hour Zoom calls with people I'd never met before, and trying to strike up I suppose, a relationship within a very short space of time. But actually, it just shows everything we're going through, wherever we are in the world, is exactly the same.
I'm still like, you've hit the pain points. I'm going to say pain points, Richard. I'm sorry. But it's the pain points. But this is where I've told before about being honest.
Yeah.
Steve, I struggle sometimes, and I've told the way you act, or like if you're on LinkedIn now live and you're just being honest, would you hire that person? Can you see through someone and say, no, I wouldn't hire? You know what I mean? So you struggle what you say, what you don't. But I've just learned anymore, the honest is working.
Yeah. For building a recruitment region, for my background, I would much rather take the person that had that bit between their teeth and they could sit there and tell me what their motivators were and what their reasons for doing the role were for, than someone with vast amounts of experience that pull numbers out of their ears. Because to me, I'd much rather have that person that sits in front of me and is all about the service deliverables and the fact that they care about what they do, ahead of any top performing maverick salesperson. Because we've all got our place, and I would rather have loyal, honest staff that actually treat everyone with respect and look after clients and candidates far better than the top salespeople. Because actually, if I can nurture the honest, hardworking, loyal people, I can make them the top selling people.
Yeah,
you're right. Okay.
Hey, he summed it up. Hey, Steve, I got a question for you on virtual. Is the UK big on, like me and Dave are doing virtual resumes, virtual offices? Is that taking off in the UK?
I haven't heard as much. I know recruiters are. So I've done quite a lot of social media posts on personal branding and making sure that you get yourself out there. The fact that you can't sit in front of an individual as easily as you could have done, then you've got to start promoting virtual relationships. Will it supersede sitting in front of someone? I don't think so. I enjoy having a coffee and having that kind of personal space, but it will change things. It should make us all more efficient. I've done far more online than I've ever done, as I'm sure everyone else has. And when you've got a 2-hour journey to go and meet a client for a 2-hour journey back, we've got to be in a position now where we'll say, let's just do a Zoom call or a virtual call, because it makes more sense and it's cost effective. I think certainly within the recruitment, I think recruitment agencies in the UK will start looking at ways to improve the way agencies work, look at their overheads and their back office support, and perhaps make that more digital or more virtual. And I think that will have a big impact on staffing within the recruitment agencies here.
Are you going to see a big change, do you think? Or within the next year? I guess it all depends on how things are going now with COVID.
Yeah, it will change. And I think because so many people have been sat at home, they've had lots more time to reassess actually how the businesses work. And even if I'm talking to my current client base, lots of them are saying they've had people on furlough and they're now trying to understand what they did when they were in work. So they probably don't have a role when they go back. And then I'm talking to candidates who are sat there saying, actually, I feel like I've never been valued where I worked anyway. I don't think I want to go back. And then that creates gaps everywhere. And I'm sure that's the same within recruitment agencies.
I hear it every day.
There's a huge rise here of recruiters looking to set themselves up as their own limited companies now. Because so many have been turned away from businesses. I think at one point, certainly a local recruiter around here let 39 staff go in an afternoon. And that was huge considering their headcount as well. It's a lot of people to say, actually, we don't need you anymore. And then you've got people that are either going to go off and do different industries and think, that's me done. And there'll be others that will be sat there thinking, actually, I can probably do this for myself. And then that brings a whole wealth of different.
That's exactly how it is.
And this is great because I love to compare the United States with other countries of what's going on, Dave. You know what I mean? This is great eye opener because we can learn from each other. You know, that's what it's all global. And
and that's what I'm going to take away from this again is just that honest. No, I can't do it. I don't want that feeling. I don't want that feeling. I'm not doing it.
It's the worst place to be.
It is because you know it in your heart. You know it in your mind. You want to take care of them.
Yeah.
But you know what's going to happen. You hear it. That's why I think of some of the companies, well, you're just another staffing company, false promises. We've heard this before. I've sat in those meetings. What makes you different?
Yeah. And the answer to that is always me or me as an individual. I'm what's different. Because this is how I work. It's never about necessarily the company brand, the image, the service that's gone on before. It's about what I can deliver because I'm taking your account or you as a client on. This is how I work. And if at any point you think I'm not delivering, then you tell me and I will change what I'm doing to make sure I am.
Right.
I love that right there. Dave, am I right?
No, that sums it up for me.
Building that relationship with that company to say, hey, you know, you're not doing what we need. Can you change or we're going to get somebody else? And that's all it is. It's open honesty for both ends.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. Just go get someone.
Every new client I meet, I say, look, I've never worked with you before. I'm going to go away and match people to your brief. If the first lot of candidates that I send aren't up to scratch, then you need to be as direct as you need to be to say, this is why they're not suitable and these are the reasons why. Because if you don't tell me, the next lot of CVs or resumes I'm going to send you are going to be the same.
The same. No, I don't know what to say. I'm like, it's like, yes.
No, he's hitting every trigger point that we have. I'm telling you, Steve, everything over here. What I'm going to say across the pond is the same thing. We're going through the same stuff that you all are. You know what? We're all sticking together. As you can see, we're all trying to embrace each other and find ideas how we can get the workforce back to work, right?
Yeah. And if you think in terms of COVID, so a huge positive that I feel that it's brought is, for me, certainly in the UK, recruitment consultants have never been collaborative. Recruitment agencies, it's all about that stiff upper lip, that sticking your chest out. I'm the best consultant. I don't need to deal with you or speak to you. And I think it's brought people closer together. And I have spoken to more competitors and more recruiters than I've ever done in the last 3 or 4 months. Yeah. And actually, I'm a better recruiter now than I was prior to speaking to all the individuals that I've spoken to.
Wow. Steve, me and Dave talk about this all the time. We want to collaborate with the big box and the small companies. And guess what? They shy away. These are all my jobs. You can't fill them. Why can't we all work together? There's enough jobs for everybody. Am I right? There's enough openings that we can all be a big family.
My ethos with my recruiters was, so I came from a background where you had to argue for a 50% share of a fee, or you placed someone and someone would turn up and say, that was my candidate, or that was my client, or my vacancy. I have some of that fee. And when I built the region for Fast Track, the idea behind it was I wanted to fill vacancies as quickly as possible. But actually, I want everyone to be on the same path where the quicker we fill the role, the quicker we can move on to the next position, and we'll all make more money. We'll all place more people. We'll be better because actually there's none of this tit for tat arguments in between. We're all on the same journey. And actually, if we start fighting with each other, we're all going to do less. We have something here called top drawing. So if you get a really good CV, and you know they're placeable, but maybe you don't have a position, but the consultant next to you's got the perfect position. The consultant would top draw the CV so this person couldn't see them on the fear that you would miss out on placing them. And therefore you both miss out because nothing happens with the CV and the consultant doesn't get the opportunity to put that one across. And that's where that was the background I'd kind of come from.
No, it's the same here. It was the same. Now it is changing because we're working with like 3 people right now. And it's the same concept. The way I look at it, it's like, hey, $3,000 is better than zero.
Completely. Certainly at the moment as well, where it's even tougher. It's about being collaborative and coming out with a positive outcome.
Yeah. No, I tell you what, I can't appreciate your time so much. I really do. I appreciate it coming on and just sharing that experience, you know. And this one really, you hit. This one was the pain points. I'm sorry, Richard, but this one was as straight, as honest, also as you can get.
Yeah.
You know?
Best way to be.
Yes.
Exactly. And I just want to say, Steve, thank you so much from my heart, man. We both follow each other. You know, keep liking my stuff. I'll keep liking your stuff. We're going to have you on again for sure, you know, down the road. But you know what? Thank you for taking time out of your busy day on a Friday. You know, it's happy hour. I know you're sure ready to go on and not enjoy your weekend with your family. Steve, his family likes to go camping and hiking and all the good outdoor stuff. I see everything you post. So that's a good, true family man. That's what I love. So, awesome. Once again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Ready
you.
to do this on 3. 1, 2, 3. Shark!
Here we go.
Hey,
thanks,
Steve,
everybody.
Dave, play the music, buddy. Play the music again for Steve. You got it?
Yeah, because I just didn't feel like that we got it all in there.
Oh, man. But I just want to tell everybody again.
Hold on. It's coming, Ike.
Here it comes.
Right. There it comes. This matches you, Steve. I can see, you know. Well, I'm disappearing.
The Shark's going to start reading this week. So look at it on Twitter. I'm going to be putting chapters in there. Thank you again, Steve.
All right, good night. Good night. Good day, right?
That's right.